Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hey, Miss Joyce, doing good. How you doing?
Me, I'm great.
By the way, guys, we are watching Downsizing, and this movie was released in 2017, so I'm really excited. And the only thing that I know is some people will be shrunken down into a miniature size, and that is actually crazy. Because if something like that is happening in this movie, I'll be shocked. Because most of the videos in this YouTube channel are based on that, so I'm really curious to see what's going on in this YouTube video. Okay, we are starting with rats in the lab, which is actually nuts. So are you going to tell me like this lab in Norway are using rats? I'm really like, why do they need to use rats? Rats are animals too, so why do you need to use them in the experiment project? Don't you know like rats are animal too, so they deserve like to live? I can't even understand why always in anything that is related to scientific experiment they have to use rats. I know there's rats which are specifically for experiment, but this is not cool because they're animals too. Just imagine if you are a human being and someone is focusing on taking you and use you as an experiment specimen. Well, how are you going to feel? You're going to feel bad, right? This is the same thing to the rats, because as you can see in this lab in Norway, they tend to use rats as an experiment specimen, which is actually weird and strange. I don't know. So this is a company where like there's like labs, and it looked like a school or maybe university. I don't know, like an institute, maybe college. Maybe it's a college. And they're talking about, oh, the experiment has been successful. So how? I actually don't know. So we are seeing the progression after 10 years of that lab. It's not the lab that's meat, so okay, let's see like after 10 years how it's going, because it's really crazy. That's a lot of meat.
Okay. ¿Y si duele o es más como una...
Wait, so Matt Damon is a doctor? Because as you can see in the last shot I saw Matt Damon with a syringe trying to provide health care to an old lady. So I don't understand, like, is he a doctor or maybe like someone who deals like medical stuff? I don't know.
African dictator, rival ethnic.
But Ron, in any major transformation in society, are there serious wrongs? Sure. So at cut mass and volume.
What the hell? Did you see this news? This news is crazy. So a normal guy who is a reporter too tends to have a conversation with a tiny reporter while people are watching it. And people they think like, oh, it's okay, it's normal, which is actually nuts. That's actually weird.
Order about ready? Hey honey, I brought food.
So you mean to tell me like in the news there's like kind of conflict, like there's people who are supporting the experiment project where like people will be shutting down and other people they are against it, like, hey, we don't like to do this, and some people like, hey, we like to do this because it's safe. Also, you can see the reporters who are like the normal size one and the miniature one, they're like having conversation like maybe this experiment was made maybe to shrunken a different kind of like groups in a community, which is actually crazy. But I don't know. We're gonna find out maybe in this movie.
This area for the kitchen, big eating area. And the kitchen is just a complete wow.
Wait, Benson, we're not going Benson. This house is gigantic. You can see the kitchen. You can see the fridge. There's a lot of like space. If you're gonna stay there, everything is gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think that's the last time we saw it.
Well, Vegas wasn't a good choice for me, as it turns out. We got in a real bad habit. Pretty much hit rock bottom. I tell you, any other woman would have run for the hills. Carol, man.
So Matt Damon is talking to this tiny person who is like used to be his friend, and I think maybe he's trying to convince him like to shrink it down into tiny so that he can live a really good life, which is actually crazy.
Well, and plus it must feel good to know you're really making a difference.
You know all that crap about saving the planet?
Yeah.
Downsizing is about saving yourself. It takes pressure right off, especially money pressure. I'm just not.
Okay, this dude is saying like downsizing is like you're saving yourself from using a lot of expenses. So it means to people who want to live a really comfortable life and to be able to get things for free, they have to go and be shrunken down into tiny so that they can't even use any expenses. It's like you're living for free while you're tiny. While if you are regular size, you may tend to work, and the only way or the only easy way out is just to go to the experiment project so that they can shrink you down into tiny and they can give you for free. And what is bad is, not bad but weird, is the idea of like, if you're tiny, if you take part in this project, you're gonna live freely. You're gonna have everything that you want. You're gonna have your own house. As you can see, a lot of people are trying to continue doing these kind of like experiment projects so that they can transform themselves into a miniature size so that they can live freely. They don't have to think about anything. I don't know if it's gonna have like consequences in the future, but if those some consequences are going to happen in the future, that is gonna be nuts. Because I don't know, is Matt Damon going to go and shrink into tiny size so that he can live a comfortable life? I don't know. Because sometimes free things is not good. It's not good. You need to work. So if you're living a luxury life without even working, and you're going to this place which is called Leisureland, where it's like leisure, what the hell is happening? So they arrived in this company, which is gigantic. It has a lot of cars, and it's called Leisureland. So it means like if you're trying to look to a place where you can find leisure, it's here. Because as you can see, when you're going inside in this, you can be happy. Everything is free. So you're living in a luxurious life where you're tiny. Everything is simple, and you'll be provided with these services that normal people can't have. That's actually crazy. I don't know. This is actually nuts. How can a company tend to promise people like, if you want a good life, you need to take part in this experiment? And now Matt Damon is like convincing his wife like, hey, we can't afford this gigantic mansion, so you know what? Let's go and take part in this project so that we can be tiny and we can get everything that we wanted. The hell?
So you remember Jerry Gross? You know, I called him the other day. He and Bev retired down there. Did the whole shrinking thing that the kids are doing. He says he had a long.
What the hell? I don't know. I don't like. Families are going to shrinking. That's actually nuts. It's nuts. It's actually nuts.
Apparently there's zero crime. I keep telling your mother.
Very safe.
And we worry.
When I was younger, and I lost it.
That bar has a lot of beers. I don't know why. A lot of beers. You can see the bottles are a lot. and this dude is drunk.
My wife and I. Good for you. No offense, but do you think if you're that small, you should still have all the same rights to breastfeed normal?
Okay, that's actually wild. So you can see now, you can see the conflict. Like, so you want to shrink it down to a miniature size. Are you going to feel like you're important than normal people? Because since you're getting everything for free, it means you tend to like value yourself as a people who live in high status now, because now you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to worry about paying different mortgages, expenses. That is actually nuts. That's why you can see some of the citizens are actually criticizing this project, which is actually nuts, because they see like, hey, this is an action of people who are freeloaders, who are going to take part of the shrinking process so that they can live a comfortable life, trying to get away from a hard life that they used to live. So the only way is to go and take part in shrinking so that they can live in this leisure land. This is actually nuts.
Actually, satanic.
Come with me, sir. We're together. Oh, someone will refer you to the women's facility shortly.
What the hell? They're going to separate it. Okay, there's no fun in that. There's no fun in that. How can you tell me we are going to take part in this shrinking experiment so that our aim is just to live freely, while to not worry about paying anything? And now you're telling me we have to separate. What the hell? So if we are tiny and we are able to get everything for free, I can have a house for free. Why do you need to divide? Why do we need to divide them? Because as you can see, we have men facility and women's facility. So as you can see, like all these two people are going to different facilities, which is actually crazy. And as you can see, the shrinking process has happened, and there's like a giantess nurse who tends to take these tiny people inside, like they look like I don't know, medicines, which is actually fun and crazy. And I'm curious why they have to shave their heads. That's actually crazy. So in order for you to take part in like the shrinking process, you have first to shave your head. You can be bald, or you have to shave it everywhere. I don't know. So now you can see Matt Damon is actually traveling, and we are shown this tiny civilization where there is roads, there is even fields where people are playing football. We are seeing people are doing yoga. There's a river and there's houses, which is actually insane. And the cars and people are doing jogging. That's actually nuts. And they are living in this like kind of like a village or something, which is so cool. I like the houses though. The houses are gigantic.
Look familiar? Barrington. My sister's got one. She's lovely. Well, sir, here is the key to your kingdom.
Kingdom. This is the key for your kingdom. What the hell is happening? Just imagine that gigantic mansion. You can be able to get that and own it and live in it if you've been shrunken down for free. That's actually the great tactics to make people to take part in this experiment. So in order to rule people to take part in this experiment, you need to promise them like, hey, you have a hard life. This is it. Go to take part in this experiment. We can shrink you down, and then you can be sent to this tiny civilization that we created, which is so cool. A lot of houses where you can take and you can live in that house for free, eat for free, anything for free. Dang, that is actually a great marketing strategy. That's why we can see a lot of people are going to this experiment to shrinking down. While other people, they tend to like having problems like, hey, you're taking everything for free. You're going to shrinking down, and then you're not going to pay taxes. That is actually nuts. But it's a cool way, though, the way they tend to use like we're giving you things for free, but we need just you to be volunteer. You can shrink it down into tiny so that you can get all the things and you can be safe from poverty and other hard problems that you're facing in your life. That's actually insane. To me, I give credit to the person who is like funding this experiment or this like project, because which way can you find, or which strategy that a company has to use in order to make the citizen wants to take part in that experiment? And I think they came up with a great strategy. So to people who are living a hard life, take part in the shrinking process so that it can be shrunken down, and they're going to live free in a tiny civilization where everybody's going to take part in this, which is crazy. Just imagine, where you're waiting, you can see Matt Damon was waiting with his wife, and then you can see different families who are like taking part, like waiting in the bench to be shrunken down. Every family with kids, just to get that freedom of not be able to pay anything, live a free life in a shrunken civilization. It's crazy. That's why you can see a lot of people who are actually like normal size, they tend to have conflict and tend to have like disagreement in terms of like this project. I don't know how it's going to bring in the future, but that's actually crazy. The good thing is, what I'm going to say is, I like the way they use like the sale pitch, like, if you want to live a good life, go take this, be part in this shrinking process, and you can have anything that you wanted. It's crazy. It's nuts. That's actually unique. 100%.
Who's that?
Yeah.
That's little Ronnie,
That's the Ronnie?
the first small baby ever born back in Norway.
Shit, that's little Ronnie.
Yeah.
When you say Norway, I started remembering Alien Holland, especially the memes, which is actually crazy. Yes.
Just things to see. You know, I don't know your fault, but I like you. I like you very much. My sister, get out of this disgusting, this fucking apartment.
What the hell? Okay. He's getting a real advice and a realization, like, why are you living in this tiny civilization? You're getting everything for free. Life is gonna be boring. People have been living here for almost like 10 years. What the hell? Just to live a good life. You don't want to struggle in the streets.
Fine. Thank you.
When I think of big people becoming small, all the new small.
What the hell? What the hell? What is going on? What? No. You can't even convince me like people they want to be tiny so they can save the environment. That's bullshit. They want to be tiny so that they can be able to live free life, getting anything for free. And I know most of people who are watching this video, some of them may be interested, like, hey, if this was real, if this was happening in real life, I guarantee a lot of people will be taking part in that kind of like project, like, hey, you know what? It's hard. I'm going just to go and live in tiny civilization. So I'm going to sign my rights to the company so that I can be tiny and then be able to, rock and roll. That's actually crazy.
From this one casino, we make about 2,000 cigars. Okay, maybe they're not actually made in Cuba. Maybe they're rolled by little Albanians in Novats, but who cares? And this is just one thing.
What the hell? This dude is the same dude that acted in the movie, which it was called. What is it? All I know is Tarantino. It was one of the Tarantino movies that it was focusing on like German occupation of France, where he was acting as a German, sergeant or lieutenant. That movie was crazy. I like that.
You were so famous a couple of years ago. I mean, everybody was talking about you
I just would have thought you'd have been giving speeches or writing books. How'd you wind up cleaning houses?
Need money for this? After TV box, I say hi.
Okay. Okay. Why did okay? Well, I don't know what to say, but I like the accent, the way the Chinese lady was speaking English. It was so funny and cute. Like, I don't know why. Because making money, I don't know. I was wondering. So, in this movie, it's like it shows different classes. It shows different classes because you can see you're getting everything for free, or maybe. But why there's vendors? You're tired. You're living a free life. There's houses and stuff. So, I don't understand that. I don't understand.
With cayenne, moss, and other things.
Cayenne, is that like red?
It's a brownish red. It's more like brick.
Okay, you know what? Dealing with the old people is crazy. Why do they have to do this? This job is gonna be so boring because now everything is for free. You don't have to do too much work. All you gotta do is just listen to grandmas who tend to like, hey, I can't find my bread. Where's my bread? And they tend to call in the phone, and now you have to give instruction even though you haven't been inside the houses. Oh, I can't find my letter. I can't find my newspaper. That's annoying. Because why? You're gonna be so bored just working in this tiny civilization, which is actually crazy. That's why you can see Matt Damon is actually like tired. It's crazy.
I'm very happy, smiling. Okay, you be quick now. You do quick.
Wait, is this a shop? Why this is like? Wait, so it's not a shop because I can see the bed. So it means a person is living here, really? And this is why I'm saying, like, what is going on? There's like classes in this tiny civilization, which is actually nuts. Because when you said people were going to shrunken down and they're gonna live like free life, it's just different. It's different from Matt Damon because Matt Damon shrunken down into tiny, and then he was given this gigantic, like a big mansion. Like, hey, now take the keys. This is the keys for your kingdom, like a huge mansion you can live in. And you can see different classes of people are living in a different way. The Chinese lady was living in a small room, which is actually like one bed with other stuff, like a lot of stuff in just one area. I don't understand. So, in the real world, there's classes. And now, even in the leisure land, tiny civilization, there's tiny people living in hardship. So what is the meaning of you to take part in this experiment? I don't know.
You are old. It's the end. It's the end of everything.
End of everything? Really? What the hell? So what? This is the old guy from the first scene in the lab in Norway who was trying to use rats as experiment specimen. So you mean to tell me all these experiment of shrinking people into miniature size was just to combat with the problem of human extinction? Really? Listen, let me tell you. Extinction, if it's bound to happen, it will happen. It happened to the dinosaurs. It happened. If it's time for humans species, it will happen because it was designed like that. The human race, if it reaches its limit of the lifespan, if like extinction happen, it happens so that it can pave a way to other species to continue living anew. So you mean to tell me these scientists decided like, in order for us to deal with extinction, so let's create this an experiment where we can we can be able to transform a normal person into a miniature size so that he cannot be extinct. Dude, when extinction happened to the dinosaurs, even ants died, even chickens, even mouses. So you can't even convince me. Can't even convince me. It's like a cult. All I can say, this community, this Leisureland community is like a cult. All they believe, like all these people who are shrinking down in a miniature and living in Leisureland, they believe in this cult like it's the end. We are sad. So shrinking is the only process to deal with extinction. That's actually nuts.
Surviving members of the original colony.
And why they're calling colonies? What the hell? Colony, colony, colony. We're not ants. Colony, colony, colony. What the hell? If it was me, I'll start causing problems. Call me colony. There's no colony. You're not colonized. And why this part, like, okay. I don't know. If extinction happens, it happens. You can't deal with it. If it's a volcano, you can't even force the volcano to not erupt because you want to continue living. You can't deal with that. If something is happening, natural disasters happen, earthquake, it will always happen because it's designed like that. If a tsunami has to happen, and hurricane and tornadoes, it will happen because those are things which are inevitable in our society, in Earth. So if extinction has to happen, it will happen. And these people are trying like, hey, you know what? We are sad because we're going to extinct. So in order to deal with this, we should create this experiment which we can transform people into miniature size so that we can live. Okay, this is a cult. I'm sorry if you're thinking like I'm talking too much, but this is a cult. A cult that is afraid of human extinction, so they're focusing on like being shrinking so that they can live this tiny, miserable life. Crazy. Scientists sometimes they're crazy. If I was Matt Damon, I would try to run away from this community. To me, it sounds like toxic. So you're living in fear. What the hell? Run away! Run away from everything. Wait, is Matt Damon going away because he has a bag, so I don't know.
It's just a few hours planned before we begin to descend to the boat.
Well, how long is the whole?
Tunde, why you say it's Tunde? It's like Baba Tunde. Do you know that meme, that a Nigerian meme like Baba Tunde? Even a tiny old guy was taking part in this tiny shrinking process, which is actually crazy though. It's crazy. Matt Damon going to the actual world. This actually is sad. Just because you're afraid of extinction, so you want to live in this life, really? I don't know. Some of the comments. Extinction will happen. You can't even stop it. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the comments what you think, and if you love this video, make sure you leave a like and tell me in the comments. I want to know your comments. Do you think people are right in terms of taking part of the shrinking process so that they can prevent human extinction? Because if you think that, I don't know.